Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to my kitchen. Today is Tuesday. It is September 12th. It is my husband's birthday. And for the first time in 24 years that I've been with him, he's not getting his usual meal. And that's due to the kitchen remodel. But he's getting his second favorite meal. Now, there is a video of this. But I figured, you know what? I'm going to do it all over again and repost it. So, but doing it on today's day. So, I'm going to move you guys down. You guys know where you are. If anybody watched the Apple keynote address today, leave me a comment down below. I was intrigued. I watched the whole thing. There are a few things that I may consider if I upgrade to the iPhone 15. I'm also thinking about getting us watches at some point. So, the first thing that you're going to need for this recipe is an Instant Pot. Now, if you don't have an Instant Pot and have a pressure cooker, that'll work too. Nowadays, almost everybody I know has the Instant Pot. And it's just a great, quick, one-meal thing. Now, I did things a little bit differently today when I went grocery shopping because I'm trying to remodel. So I didn't do a huge grocery shopping thing, and I didn't realize that I didn't have the right onions. I have red onions and not white or yellow. You want to use a yellow or a white onion versus a red onion. But if you only have red onions, it will work in a pinch. So we're going to put that off to the side. Now, the one thing that a lot of people say about beef stroganoff is how dry it is and how tough it is. Well, you can totally change that by the cut of meat that you get. And I'm going to go into the refrigerator and get this. And this is a relatively quick, it's a very, very quick meal to do in the Instant Pot. So you'll see my husband's birthday cake is back here. And unfortunately this year I didn't get to bake him one from scratch. Normally I would make a cake, but again with the remodel, that didn't happen. But you will get to see the cake when I bring it out. So you might be wondering why I'm not using the camcorder at all. Well, right now the camcorder is safely put away so I don't break it. I will get that out. If I do switch to the iPhone 15 Max Pro, then I have to think about, is it worth using the camcorder at all and just having that as the backup camera? So those are things that we're going to play with. Now, when you buy meat for the stroganoff, I don't like to use the stew meat because the stew meat does have a tendency to be a much tougher cut. What I do is I will buy a Black Angus chuck roast. If you can't get a good chuck roast, get what you would use for pot roast. But you want to make sure that it's not too thick, otherwise you'll be cutting the hell out of it. So, the first thing, and pardon me if I seem a little bit disorganized today, it's because the kitchen is being done and things are all over the place. And I'm actually going to take you guys and get a plate. Like I said, things are disorganized, so they're not where they're usually kept. And unfortunately, some of these plates are dirty because of where they're sitting in the dining room. Well, not in the dining room. This is actually my living room. You might notice these gorgeous paintings that are behind me, like that one right there. And I'm going to try to show you another one. Well, this one wouldn't be included in that, but this painting that's over my husband's piano is actually a painting that my grandmother painted. And she was a very, very talented artist. when she was alive and did a lot of oil paintings, and I have them hanging throughout the house. So, now that I have a plate, you are going to need cornstarch for this recipe. And cornstarch works much better than flour because you don't have to cook it. You just have to allow it to get thick. So I went to my local Mariano's today and I got 2 nice chuck roasts. And you might be asking what my husband's favorite meal is. Well, normally, if the kitchen wasn't in the remodel, he would get a pork loin roast with dumplings and sweet sour cabbage. And I did actually offer to cook him that today, but we both figured with the kitchen the way that it is, it'd be much easier if I didn't do all of that work today. So I asked him, I said, what do you want in place of the pork roast? Now, he will be getting the pork loin roast probably, since our anniversary is next month. That'll probably be our anniversary dinner. So, what exactly is a chuck roast? Well, if you're not familiar with the chuck roast, this is what a chuck roast looks like. And this is actually what I use for a pot roast. And they come this big, and they're usually thick. I would say this is about maybe an inch and a half thick. So the first thing what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut these into chunks. And you don't want to be too small with your chunks, but you also don't want to be too big with your chunks either. And I like some meats, so I go a little bit bigger. But if you think of stew meat, you don't have to go as small as some stew meats. What I just do is I just cut them into strips and then cut them into bite-sized pieces, about like that. And you're going to do that for the entire roast. Now you're going to see all this fat, and I'm going to tip you guys over so you can see this excess fat that's in there. You want to cut that out. You really don't need that in your stroganoff, because all that's going to do is that's going to make it a little bit more chewy. And I like to trim that myself. If you get a butcher to do that, keep in mind they will charge you a processing fee to do that unless you're really good friends with the butcher. Now, if you have a little bit of fat, that's fine. You can have a little bit. Actually, this one has a lot of fat, so I'm just going to cut that one out. You ideally don't want a lot of fat in your stroganoff. I'm just going to throw that piece out, and then the rest of this I can just cut. And you can make these as big or as small as you like. And like I said, having a little bit of fat is fine. You just don't want a lot of fat in your stroganoff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish cutting this. And usually if I was better organized, I would put this in a bowl and then salt and pepper it. But since my bowls are tucked away, I'm just gonna do this kind of quickly. Now, how many roasts you want to buy depends on how many people you're trying to feed and if you want leftovers. I don't have anything out defrosting right now, which I have to get something out for the rest of the week. But we can have this a couple of nights for leftovers. Now this piece has quite a bit of fat on it. And if the fat's hard, you want to make sure you cut that out. Because like I said, that will serve no purpose in your stroganoff. The other complaint with a good stroganoff, or stroganoff that I hear most people say, is it doesn't have a lot of flavor. Well, I'm going to show you the tricks to solve that problem so you don't have a listless or tasteless stroganoff. This one is really, really good. So, and this is just a harder piece of fat, so I'm just going to trim this fat off. And you can save the fat if you use it for suet, or if you feed birds in the winter time. You can keep the fat trimmings off and save that for your feather friends if you do that. I wouldn't use that for soup or anything because you don't want the grease in your soup. So it really doesn't taste all that well. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. I'll be right back in a few minutes and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, I'm back, and I did decide you do need a bowl because there is a step where you're going to actually use the bowl. And I'm just going to take my dishcloth or dish towel and just do that. I'm trying to be careful because some of the sediment from the ceiling is still coming down. So now that you have your beef all chopped up, you can go ahead and salt and pepper it a little bit. Don't use a lot of salt because you will be using salt later on. So you don't need to go too heavy-handed with your seasonings of your meat because it will be seasoned very well. And as a matter of fact, I need to go get a seasoning that I forgot to grab. So I'm going to put this off to the side for right this second. I'm going to grab you. Sorry, Lele. Huh? Oh, the mail? Okay. Well, it's very possible it could have been yesterday's. Sorry, my husband and I were talking about mail. We didn't get any yesterday. Even though it said we should have gotten quite a bit yesterday, we got none. So, I grabbed the two seasonings, and you're going to need a Lawry's garlic salt. You're also going to need a Lawry's seasoned salt. So let me move the cutting board off to the side, and it's a little bit, I apologize for the disorganization if you guys have been following me throughout the remodel process. Okay, so now if you like the Lawry's garlic salt, you can go ahead and put that on now, or you can wait till another step. I'm just going to give a little bit of the Lawry's garlic salt. Now this recipe is a very famous YouTuber that is known for his Instant Pot recipes. And what I did is I adapted his recipe and then I made it my own, using his same principles. So on your Instant Pot, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set it to the saute button, and you're going to want to hit the start button. And allow your Instant Pot to get warm. You're going to use a 1/4 stick of butter, or I would say about 4 tablespoons of butter will work. You're also going to need good olive oil. I stopped it. He can't play with you. And you're gonna let that melt in your Instant Pot. What you're also gonna do is add about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Make sure. I'm gonna add just a little bit more. Now also keep your butter handy and off to the side because you're gonna need to use it again once your Instant Pot has heated up. So I hope everybody's having a good week. I'm also going to give you just today's quick update on the kitchen remodel. My husband has now put all of the, I almost said putty, and that's not what you use on the thing. Why I never can, thank you. I'm like, why I can never remember spackle is beyond me. But my husband spackled the areas that needed to be done on the ceiling. Fortunately, the walls are pretty good. We're still having issues in that one corner, but my husband and I actually talked about it, and that was some place we were supposed to go today, but we'll go probably tomorrow or the next day. And that is, we're going to actually do I'm going to point to it, the outer walls over here. You can't really see where I'm pointing to, so there we go. These, we're actually going to do a wood trim on it, or kind of trim on it. And that'll hide that silver place. That'll also make it a little bit more easy for us because we do bang into it quite a bit with furniture or going in and out, moving things. So that'll actually protect that area. It's just, it's really hard without taking the entire silver piece off, cleaning it, or buying a new one and then reattaching it. We don't want to do that because then you can get into areas where you can actually damage the walls. So to hide that blemish, we're going to actually just do a wood trim. I'm probably going to paint that white. Okay, you might notice that this is splattering, and I probably had a little piece of meat in here and you can see the steam coming up. So what you're going to do is you're going to drop your meat a little bit at a time. You don't want to overcrowd this, but you want to put your meat in. And what you're going to do is you're going to brown it for a couple of minutes. And when I say brown it, you just want to brown it. You do not want to cook it all the way through. You just are going to brown it. About 1 to 2 minutes is more than enough. Your meat is not going to be fully cooked, so when you do the next step, don't think that you can go ahead and eat it. It's still going to be raw. But what you're going to do with the slatted spoon is you're going to remove your meat and put it in a bowl while you do other things in the Instant Pot. I'm going to kind of show you what this looks like because it's really hard to film. That's what your meat's going to look like. And you just want to brown it. And it does not have to be perfect. As long as the meat has browned on one side, 2 sides. That's totally fine. Now you might be wondering, am I going to slowly add the Cooking with Joel videos back into the mix? Probably not right now. I'm probably about 3 to 4 weeks away from doing that, just because I want to do a grand unveil with the kitchen and then do a Cooking with Joel video. So this is just a special quick video that I'm doing. You've eaten. Of course, you know that's the mouthpiece. Okay, after your meat has browned, and like I said, your meat's gonna look like this. You're gonna want to spoon it out and put it into a bowl. I'm gonna kind of drop you guys a little bit. You don't want the meat to cook all the way through. Because trust me, it will cook all the way through with this recipe. And I'm just going to go ahead and brown the rest of my meat. And hopefully you guys are all having a great week going on. Like I said, today was, since it's my husband's birthday, we're not really doing anything too much in the kitchen. He did spackle a little bit earlier today. And then I told him to take the rest of the day off because it's his birthday. Tomorrow we'll be doing a lot more in the kitchen. We'll be he'll finish sanding whatever he needs to do, and then we're going to start actually washing and moving the refrigerator and the stove. Now, when I say moving them, they're still going to be plugged in. They're just going to be moved away from the walls. So I'm just going to let this brown for a couple of more minutes. And it's actually smelling pretty good right now. Now, while that's doing its thing, I'm going to take you guys to the pantry and hopefully I can find what I need. I need some wide egg noodles. And unfortunately, I had this organized so nicely, and then the remodel happened, and it was like okay, everything got dumped back over here. So I'm just, oh, wait, and I have. I like to use these no yolk egg noodles, and they're just wide egg noodles, and you can do this ahead of time. You just want to follow can't talk. You want to follow the directions on the package for the cooking, and I'll do that in a couple of minutes. I'm just going to allow this meat to cook a little bit more, get rid of a little bit of this red. Almost there. I bring you in closer, but trust me, you don't want to see the condition of my stove right now. Now, always use the pot that you think is too big for your noodles. And trust me, you want to do that. I see, what are you doing? Leave him alone. He's too old for that. My big Siberian Husky wants to play with one of the Chihuahuas, but my Chihuahua is almost 14 years old now. Actually, he's almost 15, and he doesn't play like that anymore. And my big guy is no youngster himself. And I'm just taking all the meat out. And I'm going to put the fruit on it. Now, for this next part, I'm going to stop the video really quickly. I'll be right back.